Hi everyone, Tracy Filter here with Tracy's Ink Spot. Thank you for joining me for another video today. Looks like I'm a little crooked. Just gonna straighten her back up again. It likes to turn when I touch my camera. Oop, not that way. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Alrighty, today I'm going to show you how I created this card for this week's Win It Wednesday project. I asked you guys to vote on a color scheme using Tahitian Tide, and this was one of the winners. I actually had two, so I'll be creating two projects. But the color combo was Tahitian Tide, Granny Apple Green, and Daffodil Delight. And I thought I would take this opportunity to show you how to work with a big background stamp using your Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this one off to the side. We'll get a look at that again later. The one I'm gonna work with today is called Sprial Dye. And this definitely reminds you of, you know, your 1960s tie-dyed shirts, etc., etc. So this one's really fun to work with. You can do lots of great things with it in all kinds of colors. And I'm gonna show you how to get the two colors using just the one stamp, because if you stamp it twice just like this, you're just gonna get color over color, and that's definitely not what you wanna do. So grab your Stamparatus, and I like to have a piece of grid paper inside. I'll take this off for a second. I like to have a piece of grid paper inside so that I can mark it up as needed. Now this is the one I used on my project already, so you can see it's already a little bit used up, but we're gonna place our cardstock in a spot that we know where two of the corners have hit. So I'm gonna be using the grid lines to follow here and here so that I know these two corners went into those two corners. Then I'm gonna take my die, or my Sprial Dye stamp set, and I'm gonna turn it over and cover that evenly. Then bring my plate over and give it pressure all over so that it's attached to there. Okay, so this is the way we're gonna start to make our card front. So I'm gonna start with my Tahitian Tide, and I'm gonna go ahead and ink that up like so. Close that up because otherwise I'll stick my fingers in it. All right, we're gonna flip that back over. Again, even pressure all the way around. This is one way to work really nicely with your big die, with your big, I keep calling it dies because it's the Sprial Dye stamp. With your big background stamps. I love working with that with my Stamparatus because it gives me nice, great pressure, really easy to use. Okay, now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take the piece and rotate it, okay? So match up the corners again so that your center will hit in about the same spot. And then one thing, of course, you're gonna wanna do is clean off the previous color. So I'm gonna grab my chamois and wipe across and get the rest of that Tahitian Tide off of there. Okay. So yes, that's a very well-loved chamois. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, so ink is off of here. We're gonna go ahead and place that back in. Again, we rotated it one time, and so that those corners match up again, we're gonna have it in the right position. I'm gonna go ahead now with my Granny Apple Green and do the same thing. Ink up my stamp. Same thing again. Make sure those are staying where they are. Pressure down all over the large size and bring it back up. And it like to stick to this side sometimes. So there you go. Now you have your two colors that have come together on that particular piece of cardstock. I'll bring it up a little closer. So you can see they offset each other now as opposed to stamping over each other. So you see some of the green and you see some of the Tahitian coming through in that spiral. Okay? And then I took on this one, because I wanted to add that daffodil in there, I just took my blending brush and my daffodil ink and I added some of the yellow. So I just tapped it onto there and then starting off the edge and bringing it in toward the center. This one I'm going to do a little bit lighter touch than I did on the first one. And again, I like to start off the cardstock. And I don't like putting my fingers here because I don't want to push, I'll do it on the back side here. If you push down, you end up with kind of like a blotch. and it doesn't really blend out. You can still see where that initial blotch happened. So I like to actually just hold it by this stem, if you want to call it that handle, whatever. So I have some strength here, but I'm not pushing directly into those bristles. Okay, so there you go. That is how I did the spiral end of that, or I should say the spiral die part of that particular card. So congratulations to the Win It Wednesday winner who receives this one. It'll be in the mail and on its way to you soon. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye now.